Hey guys, welcome back to the channel guys. It's your boy Sly Lancy here, and today we're going to be covering another Sly Cooper video for you guys. Oh my gosh, I love doing these Sly Cooper videos. It just brings back so much nostalgia for me as a kid playing these games. And I know it does the same for you guys, which is why I still make these videos. So, let's get into today's topic. A topic that I think a lot of people really would love to watch today, especially because it's often discussed in the Sly Cooper community from what I've seen. But yeah, today we're going to be covering the best Sly Cooper boss battles. Now, these boss battles, you know, it's from what I've seen in the community, the Sly Cooper boss battles has always been like, they either a hit or miss for a lot of people, and I can understand why. Some of these boss fights are some of the most legendary fights any of these Sly Cooper games will have, and then some of them are just like some of the most basic fights you'll ever get. So, but let me tell you guys something. I never had a problem with any of those Sly Cooper boss fights. I've always found them, some can be repetitive, but I mainly loved every single boss fight I came across with Sly Cooper. Now, it's just a matter of picking which 10 are my favorite and a couple of honorable mentions that I have. So, without further ado guys, if you guys are ready, so am I. Top 10 best Sly Cooper boss battles. Number 10. The CONTESSA boss battle from Sly 2. Now I know most of you guys probably didn't expect me to put this one in the top 10 given my history with spiders, but yes, the CONTESSA boss battle is one of my favorites, mainly because it's a boss battle that was basically like, you know, shoehorned, well not shoehorned, what's the best term for this? I would say the best boss battle in terms of like the element of surprise, because we not only had to face CONTESSA once, we had to face her twice. The first battle, we thought we beat her, and then the second time was when she had the power of the Clockwork Eye, which allowed her hypnosis treatments and hypnosis battles, you know, to sway in her favor. So this is one of the reasons why I like the CONTESSA boss battles, is because they literally ramp it up so that you have to literally like be on your toes. And again, it goes into the reason why I love, you know, the not Trojan tanks, sorry guys. No, High Road, the operations High Road. You know, as goes into one of the reasons why High Road is one of the best operations in the Sly Cooper games. Literally because so much craziness was thrown at you when you least expected, and you have to like be back on top of your toes during this entire time. But again, this ain't an operations video. You know, I'll leave a link in the description, or I'll leave the tab at the top of the YouTube video for those who want to watch that video. But yeah, this is why I love the CONTESSA boss battle. You know, it's two battles in one, and it can be unpredictable if you're not ready for it. Number 9. The Penelope boss fight from Sly 4. Yes. I know what some of you guys are thinking, but yes, I love this boss battle. This is easily one of my favorite boss battles. It may not be the best in terms of like gameplay or mechanics, but to me, it's one of the best in terms of what the story had to offer for it. We're trying to get revenge on this girl because she destroyed our best friend in Bentley. So now we really trying to get this girl back for everything she's done, for messing up the Cooper line and breaking Bentley's heart. So you better bet that when I went into this boss battle, I was ready. I was ready to lay the wood on this girl. Okay, just please pretend I never said that. Okay, so but yeah, I was ready to defeat this girl. So yeah, with Penelope, it was kind of strange because you wonder how this boss fight with Penelope was gonna go, especially because we know how another boss fight that we had with her, which I'll cover later in this list, went. You know, so even though Penelope was in the Black Knight suit, something just told me it wasn't gonna be her in the Black Knight suit completely. I knew there was gonna be like an extra part to it, but what I didn't expect was that she was gonna have a giant freaking robot that we was gonna have to that she was controlling. but that just made the boss fight all the more fun to do. And to me, you know, the fact that we had to jump on top pillars and then use Sly's England outfit to use the bow and arrow to hit her arms and then her chest, and then walk across the rope and then shoot her arm and chest down. It was, you know, it kept the fight exhilarating. It may get repetitive at times, I understand, but again, you know, you really want to defeat Penelope after everything she's done. So, once we do that twice, you know, we defeat Penelope's giant robot and it destroys. Now, unfortunately, Sly gets stuck underneath one of the robot's mechanical parts and is unable to break free, and Penelope gets angry that Cooper destroyed the giant robot, so she gets ready to pound the shit out of Cooper, but that was when our boy Bentley came through and decided to help us at the very last moment. Now, the explanation that Penelope gives as to why she turned to the dark side, really, it wasn't like the best. It wasn't like the best explanation. You understood the explanation somewhat, but I feel like they could have went about it just a bit better. But you know, but again, I'm not gonna sit here and complain, because for everyone that complained, we haven't had a Sly game or Sly comic or nothing in years. So it's really at the point where now it's like it's getting kind of sad. Everyone still hates on this game as much as they do, even though it is the worst in the series. I'm just not gonna sit here and just hate on Sly 4 as much as I should. But again, I'll get to that when I get to the reviews, which I will be covering very, very soon. But yeah, so the boss battle with Sly with Bentley and Penelope. So this is the boss fight where we actually fight Penelope in her Black Knight costume, and Bentley uses a robot costume that apparently was a prototype Penelope was working on. So after a few goes, we defeat Penelope once and for all, and, well, not once and for all, because she escapes at the end of the game anyway. But yeah, we defeat Penelope and rescue the others, and that's the end of that boss battle. Again, this boss fight isn't the best in terms of, you know, gameplay mechanics, but in terms of what the story was telling, you definitely enjoyed the boss fight a lot more. I know I did. Number 8. Don Octavio from Sly 3. If there's anything, and I mean anything, that docks this boss fight for me, it's the fact that we're fighting in the middle of the day. Again, that is just a nitpick. It's just a nitpick. It's nothing to take seriously, but I really would have preferred fighting Don Octavio at night. It's just a nitpick, not to take super seriously, guys. Because aside from that, the boss fight with Don Octavio is really fun. It's really, really fun. And on top of that, it's even more fun because Bentley gets hurt by Don Octavio, which pisses Murray off, and is enough to help him rejoin the gang afterwards and then fight Don Octavio. Now, Don Octavio, for a guy his age, he actually moves very quickly and fights very good for his age. You know, it's kind of like a, how would I put it? It's kind of like a older Iron Mike Tyson, I would say. He may be old, but he still has that punching power and speed that made him so great long ago. But the best way to slow down Don Octavio is with the very thing that he used to destroy the city of Venice, tar. So Sly goes to the tar pumps to crack open tar so that you can slow down Don Octavio. You can land a few punches on him. There's two separate versions. Well, two sections of this boss fight. Yeah, the first fight where you fight against the area where Don Octavio sang his opera recital, and then the second area which is next to the cop station. So you just, once you defeat Don Octavio, you basically grab the demolition switch from him, and then you run to grab Bentley and get out of Venice before Carmelita and the rest of Interpol track you down and try to arrest you. Now, so this boss fight is a lot of fun. You know, again, the only nitpick I have is I wanted it to be at night, but that's just a regular nitpick. Aside from that, everything about this boss fight I truly do love. And honestly, it was actually very, very rewarding and satisfying to see Don Octavio get put behind bars after everything he did to that city. Number 7. John Bassan from Sly 2. This boss fight to me is very, very underrated. I don't see a lot of Sly fans talking about this boss fight like that, which really, really disappoints me because this boss fight is easily one of the best ones in the entire series. Now, because one, we have to use Bentley during this boss fight, and John Bassan, obviously being from the 1800s, he's still stuck in the stereotypes of how, like, you know, small men can't beat big dudes in the world, even though that's a load of BS because we've had stories like David and Goliath, the Little Giants, heck, a lot of other stories too that I can talk about, but I'm not going to stray too far off topic. But yeah, so we've had history of small men overcoming big dudes throughout history. But again, John Bassan is still in that mindset of he's a log chopping dude from the 1800s, and he'll be able to defeat anybody that comes across his way. So we learned that John Bassan sold all the Clockwork parts after he found this Cooper gang's hideout, which really shocked Bentley and the other three. And then afterwards, John Bassan continues to insult Bentley by basically saying that he doesn't know about the world of e-commerce and he doesn't know the difference between a woodcutter and a woodchuck. So this pisses Bentley off beyond belief, feeling that his intelligence feeling that his intelligence got insulted by a dude from the 1800s who has no intelligence whatsoever. It just I tell you, this game had a lot of dark humor to it. A lot of dark humor. But yeah, so Bentley and John Bassan go at it, but we all know that Bentley is too small to really like lay a good hit on John Bassan. So what Bentley decides to do is he's gonna have Sly from the very top of the stage control all the mechanical stuff that allows you to drop logs, set the fire off, you know, even use the saws and blades across the area that we're fighting John Bassan in. So because, you know, even though I don't think Bentley's bombs could do too much damage, and I don't think Bentley, you know, punching him is gonna do anything, because John Bassan's just gonna like try to ram it into him every single time. But yeah, so after a few rounds of that, you know, we defeat John Bassan and we manage to get the gang back in time to, you know, the battery silo before Arpeggio's blimp comes and picks it up. Another aspect I should say about this boss fight is that the game over screens for this is actually really, really dark. Like, it's really, really dark. And I may actually play a couple right now, but yeah. So, you know, aside from that, you know, aside from the game over screens, this boss fight is really, really fun. It's very energetic. It keeps you on your toes. You know, you always have to move around and run, because if you don't, John Bassan's gonna run you over and stuff. So that's one of the reasons why I think this boss fight is really, really amazing. And I, for the life of me, will never understand why this boss fight isn't heralded a lot more in a lot of Sly Cooper circles. Number 6. Panda King boss fight from Sly 1. Out of all the boss fights in fact, I would say the entire Sly Cooper series, this one's probably the easiest one, actually. And I wouldn't go as far as to say that it makes it, you know, like bad or anything. It's still a lot of fun to me, because you basically have to jump around and dodge everything that Panda King's throwing at you. With the fireballs he's throwing at you, his fiery wheel technique, his palms of thunder, boom and chop, all that stuff. You just have to learn how to dodge and make sure that you don't get caught, because if you let your guard down for a brief second, Panda King is gonna slice you in half, and that'll be the end of that. But yeah, again, there's nothing really major about this boss fight. Another thing that really catches me off guard is that there's a point where, like, you know, Panda King like acts scared of you for whatever reason when you go to attack him. It's very weird. It's a very weird thing. I don't know if anybody's seen that before, but like if you like punch him at a certain point or something, he's gonna act like scared of you or something. I don't know if again, if I can find footage of that, I will definitely show it to you guys. But yeah. So aside from that, Panda King boss fight is definitely the easiest boss fight to me in the entire franchise, or one of the easiest ones. But that doesn't make it any less fun than what it is, at least to me. Number 5. Clockwork from Sly 1. Now we go from the easiest boss fight in the entire game to what is arguably the hardest boss fight in the entire game, though I think Miss Ruby's boss fight is much harder than that. But I truly do think that CLOCKWERK is like right there too. Maybe not as hard, but it's right there. The reason why? Okay, so basically there's a whole bunch of stuff you have to do in this boss fight. Between shooting CLOCKWERK down with Carmelita's jetpack and then literally having to Sly Cooper your way through the whole area with walking on ropes, you know, sliding down on guardrails and all that, ninja spiraling on very tight points, all while you're doing this over a volcano, which is filled with nothing but lava. And it's just like, it's so crazy and so hectic. And it's absolutely incredible. And this boss fight is memorable for every Sly fan because this is literally Sly's arch enemy, his greatest enemy in history. The man who killed his father and his whole family and left him to be orphaned for the rest of his life. And considering the long journey we've been on just to get to this dude, just so we can steal the rest of our book back, you better bet this is about to be the most satisfying boss defeat in all of Sly Cooper history. Number 4. Dimitri from Sly 2. Let's dance! You better bet we gonna tango tonight, mate. Me and Dimitri. Oh my gosh, this boss fight is another fight that I absolutely love because we get to use multiple combos. We're destroying the whole place in the basement, you know. Dimitri's also pretty good at hand-to-hand combat. Maybe not as good as Sly Cooper is, but he's still pretty deadly if you let him get a couple of good punches in. And on top of that, you know, the music's playing in the background too, so it's like, it's everything. This whole boss fight is made for you to love Dimitri even more. Again, I know Dimitri, we all love Dimitri, man, and this boss fight is no exception to that. You know, there's nothing more iconic than hearing that "Let's dance" saying from Dimitri, and then just destroying shit in the entire basement, Dimitri's shop and money printing factory. So this boss fight is a lot of fun, and I know it's a lot of people's favorite boss fight too. So that's all I can say about it, is I had a ton of fun with this fight because it's literally a fight that allows you to have free motion and free range. Nothing repetitive, nothing like, you know, technical about it. Just beat the boss until they're dead, or in this case, knocked out. Number 3. The Dr. M boss fight from Sly 3. Now, if we was ranking this video based on the hardest boss fights out there, this would easily be number 1. It's no contest. This boss fight is beyond difficult. Like, beyond freaking difficult, man. Again, I remember it was so freaking hard trying to beat Dr. M. I remember back when I was in middle school, I remember during the summer, for me between 6th grade and 7th grade, that boss fight with Dr. M was just so freaking hard, man. I couldn't beat him. I couldn't beat him for the life of me. For whatever reason, I could not beat that dude. So, you know, it took a while because the one thing about Dr. M is there are 3 different phases to his boss fight. The first phase, he's regular. The second phase, he's like electric, you know, so you have to like dodge his electrical attacks. And then when he jumps up and down, he leaves like an electric mark around him, so you can't even move into the area to try and hit him or touch him because you're gonna get electrocuted. And then the third phase, which to me is easier than the second phase, is the fire phase, where when he jumps up and down, it leaves a ring of fire, but it doesn't leave fire surrounding him like that. So, and on top of that, he'll jump up in the air after each phase, you know, then you have to use your cane to hook onto him and drag him down, you know. Again, it's a lot of fun because, you know, you're destroying the place, but you can do whatever you want. You can land any combos you want. There's nothing fixed about this fight. It's not a fixed motion like some of the other boss fights I talked about earlier. But yeah, so yeah, this boss fight, it is very difficult, but it just makes defeating him a lot more satisfying too. So, because this is literally, or it was supposed to be, the very last time we ever saw Sly Cooper in a game series ever. So for the time being, that was literally one of the best boss fights out there, and it was literally one of the most satisfying conclusions to the entire series for me. You know, in terms of, you know, like defeating Dr. M, claiming your inheritance, and again, even though I didn't care for how Sly and Carmelita got together, you know, I still wouldn't say, you know, like it was the worst thing in the world, because it's definitely heartwarming seeing those two together. And then seeing all the other thieves, you know, collect their money and then ride off into the sunset, and everyone had a happy ending afterwards. You know, it was a beautiful ending. At least at the time it was for me. So, you know, obviously things changed after that. But yeah, that's as far as I can say about the Dr. M boss fight, is that its difficulty makes the conclusion of the story that much more sweet. Number 2. The Black Baron boss fight from Sly 3. Another stellar boss fight, because we're literally dueling in the air while at the same time on the plane, but we can literally, again, it's another free range boss fight. We're not restricted to do repetitive stuff so that we can get hits in. We're just here to do a free range boss fight with the Black Baron, aka Penelope, for all my technical Sly Cooper fans out there. Love you all. But yeah, that's not the only thing to this boss fight though. So the first section, like most of the boss fights on here, you have 2 different sections of the boss fight. 2 or 3 different sections of the boss fight. The first section, we're literally doing the biplane battle part 2, where we're flying in the air, we have to shoot down. In this version of the biplane fight, we have to shoot down whoever the champion was from last year, and which was obviously the Black Baron, aka Penelope. Once we shot them down, you know, we can move on to the second phase, which is basically the Black Baron tries to kill Sly and destroy the Cooper aircraft, but Bentley makes sure that the Baron plays fair this year instead. Again, but that's another plot hole I never got though, is that why was Penelope trying to help the Cooper gang if she knew that they were cheating? Again, you know, I'll discuss more about this in the Sly Cooper reviews. But yeah, so after that, you know, we move into the second phase of the boss fight, which is the duel on the plane. Again, fighting in the air on the side of a plane was a whole lot of fun. It was definitely a whole lot of fun. And once we delivered that final blow to the Black Baron, we realized that it was Penelope the whole time, which I don't know about you guys, but that did kind of shock me a bit. Like, not like overly shock me, but it did shock me just a tad bit. But at the same time, it's like, you know what? I actually kind of saw it. I kind of saw it coming. Not completely, but I did kind of see it coming. But yeah, so, you know, after that, you know, that's when, you know, the battle ends. You know, Cooper wins the Dog Aces finals, and then that's when everything, you know, went into the story about how Penelope joined the Aces competition, or started it, just so she could get past the age restriction and all that. So yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun. It was definitely a lot of fun, you know, that boss fight, and then the story that popped up afterwards. And again, Holland is actually, without a doubt, one of the best areas and places and game and stories in the entire Sly Cooper franchise. Like, the entire story of Flight and Fancy, everything about it is just incredible. It's just something that it's just, you cannot have a top 10 Sly Cooper video without Flight and Fancy in that top 10 somewhere. And even though it was this close to getting my number 1 spot, the number 1 spot is the boss fight that really stayed in my mind for the longest time. But before we do that, I'm going to give you guys the recap, and then I'm going to do an honorable mentions list, because there are a couple of boss fights that I think deserve to be mentioned but didn't make this list here. So aside from that, you know, here's the recap, and I'll talk to you guys about my honorable mentions in literally like the next 10 or 20 seconds. So, see you guys then. Toothpick from Sly 4. I know the boss fights in Sly 4 aren't the best, but if there's a boss fight that I truly took away from this particular game at least, I would say that definitely Toothpick was definitely a good boss fight for me. Miss Decibel from Sly 4. Same thing as the Toothpick boss fight. This is literally the only other boss fight I like from Sly 4 because they throw so much at you in terms of like having to walk on the musical notes, which I thought was really, really cool and really fun. And then just, you know, making sure you dodge Miss Decibel's attacks. Okay, everyone, we're down to the #1 spot. Now, this #1 spot should not be a surprise to anybody, you know, for anybody who's played this game as many times as I have. So, #1 is General Tsao's boss fight / the dragon boss fight from Sly 3. Again, this is without a doubt the cherry on top boss fight that just most Sly Cooper boss fights just has not been able to touch at all. Like, if there's anything that Sly 3 accomplished, is that the boss fights are some of the best in the entire series. Aside from one, which obviously we all know what that one was. That is obviously terrible at best. So, but yeah, aside from that, the General Tsao and his dragon boss fight, easily the best boss fights in the entire series. So the better of the two is definitely the one with General Tsao in the bamboo forest. You know, where he goes Captain America on you with his shield, where he's gonna try to hit you with the shield, spike you with the shield, and then use black magic dragons on you during that whole fight too. So again, you just have to be on your toes, be wary, and fight him. And I almost forgot about the first part of the fight, where you literally jump across the bamboo sticks in the first section and fly across the entire arena. This boss fight just screams classic kung fu movies or karate movies from back in the day. It just screams that. It's an absolute love letter to those films and that culture alone. So that's another reason why I love this boss fight too. And the second boss fight, the dragon boss fight, this one isn't as revered as some of the other boss fights on this list, let alone the one with General Tsao. But I know for me personally, I definitely love the dragon boss fight a lot. Because again, it reminds me of the boss fight with the Black Baron, where you're fighting in the air and you have to defeat the dragon so that he'll let go of Penelope, and you guys can escape while General Tsao thinks he still won because he still has Jane King as his bride, even though we took Jane King back from him. So yeah, you know, these two boss fights I absolutely love. I absolutely love everything about them. Like there's nothing else in this Sly Cooper series that tops these boss fights. It's just absolutely great, and I love it. Free range motion, the ability to use a paraglide in the second fight, and then ninja spiral jump, and then learning how to like fight aerial style. This boss fight is just a huge cherry on top. It's like a nice hot chocolate, hot fudge sundae with 3 cherries on top of it. 3 cherries on top of it. And with that, everyone, we are done with this video, the Sly Cooper boss fights. You knew we was going to get to this video eventually, and I know a lot of fans have been very, very patient for this one. So I appreciate you guys waiting. You know, again, I have a lot of stuff I want to do on this channel. So I appreciate all the love and support you guys have been helping me out with. Like, it's been such a blessing to have everyone support me like this. So in terms of Sly Cooper stuff, where am I going from here now? So I have another video coming out, the favorite Sly Cooper characters, which is going to be a surprise video. Who knows when that will come out? It's going to come out pretty soon, actually. And then on top of that, after I do the Sly Cooper favorite characters video, I'm going to shake it up a bit with Sly Cooper. I'm not going to do top 10 videos. The next set of Sly Cooper videos isn't going to be like a top 10 videos per se. We're actually going to sit down and review every single game. Every single Sly Cooper game. From the first, second, third, and fourth game. And heck, I may even do the spin-off with Bentley's Hack Pack. So be ready for that, guys. Also, in terms of Sly Cooper, I talked about wanting to draw fan art of Sly Cooper. I'm definitely gonna do more speed drawing videos of Sly Cooper because I know you guys will absolutely love it, and I know you guys will view it every single one of them. So again, just stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for all that stuff coming. The Sly Cooper reviews I got coming, and the Sly Cooper speed drawings that I'm doing. And heck, if I get enough support, maybe I'll talk about what my initial plan for both comic series was. But again, if I get enough support from you guys. So aside from that, it's your boy Sly Lancy, and as always, I'll catch you guys in the next video I do. See you guys next time.